Should we just start it now anyway? Just leaving that in.
Oh, God.
Just leave it in. Episode 2, Ball and Brawl. We'll leave that in.
Let's go.
So, first topic this week, Erling Haaland. Take it away.
Possibly the best striker I've ever seen. I don't know what you're both laughing at already. He's possibly the best striker I've ever seen.
Potentially.
Yeah, I'm talking about potential, but he's. I know this sounds mad. He's not even the finished article yet. He's not even the finished article. I think there's room for improvements even in his game. But he reminds me of he's got the pace of Michael Owen when he first started. He's got the body shape of Ibrahimovic, and he's so strong. He's good in the air. How do you mark somebody like that? I don't understand how you actually, if you're a defender and he's like in this kind of, how do you mark him?
He's got everything a goal scorer needs. He's got strength, he's got pace, he doesn't miss.
So athletic as well.
He scores goals in the air with his feet and his head like Ibra. It's mental. And the only half criticism you'd have is when he comes to the ball and gets it to feet, he's obviously not Firmino, he's not Gabriel Jesus, he's not that sort of striker, but he scored 3 hat-tricks in a row at home, so what can you actually... He scored more goals in his career, I think, this could be wrong, than the games he's played. It's
20 goals?
No, I mean in his
career.
In his actual professional career, I think he's scored more goals than he's played. It's unbelievable.
And if the one thing that I know I'm hearing people saying about that could stall his progress is it does pick up your injury, doesn't it? It does seem to miss quite a few games with injuries.
He has seemed
to. As a young
to.
player, do you think that's a little bit of an alarm bell, or is it something that can be managed? And
Yeah, he has seemed to, but then Harry Kane has. There's loads of players who I picked up an injury. No matter how professional you are, you can't stop a defender from going through the back of you or taking your ankle out. Do you know what I mean? So I think I'm assuming he's one of the best professionals out there. Look at the shape he's in.
I love his attitude as well. Everything's matter of fact. He doesn't get carried away with his success. With amount of goals he's scoring. He's almost like our kid approaches playing football.
He laughs when he misses.
Yeah, and that's what we always say when I've coached junior football for 4 or 5 years, and that's what you're always trying to get into your kids is just don't worry about missing. But not many players, as they get the pressure and the spotlight on them in professional football, even playing academies and whatever, but going into professional football, it seems like a lot of players change their attitude from how he was as a kid because of the pressure, and they feel that pressure, so then they do worry about missing. But like you say, Haaland laughs because he knows he's gonna get another goal.
He looks to me like he's got that much self-belief that he genuinely doesn't care when he misses a chance because he thinks, I'll just score the next one then. And he knows he's got De Bruyne, Grealish, Foden. He's in that team. He's getting 6-7 chances a game anyway to score.
When I watched him against Man United, you would have definitely watched that, Dave. But I was just fixated on watching him, and I was thinking, he's not. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. You're the footballer, but I was watching him. He wasn't even really involved in the game. But every time the ball came near him, you thought goal. You thought goal. I've never seen I was a massive Drogba fan, right? A massive Drogba fan, but he just looks like if he carries on this trajectory that he's on, he's going to be the best striker the world's ever seen. I know people say number 9, R9, best striker.
Best goal scorer.
Best goal scorer. Ronaldo, number 9 Ronaldo is the best striker I've ever seen. But this kid, how old is he? 21?
22.
22. That's frightening. That is absolutely frightening what he's doing. Because the Premier League, everyone says, is the best, unanimously the best league in the world. Yeah? People might disagree with that. But what he's come in and done, he's making it look like a pub league. He's making it look like a pub league. He's come,
Farmers League.
How do you, if you're a defender, how do you mark him?
But what you're saying there about him not being involved in the game is, it sounds like it's a genuine skill. When I played under Paul Cook at Wigan, he wanted me to play as a number 9 because he thought I had the attributes like pace and finishing to play there. And he literally said to me, the key thing, I don't even get on with Paul Cook, but his football knowledge is very good. And he said the key thing to play in that position is patience. He says, because I always want to go get involved in the game and have a touch in that. And when I watch Erling Haaland, it's unbelievable the patience he has. He's not even interested in touching the ball because he knows he has to be in the exact right position. So he'll let all the other players do what they've got to do. And he'll just be patient, make runs, not come to him, not touched it. All right, next one. Keep making runs. And the patience you've got to have to do that as a footballer, because you could go 20 minutes without touching the ball. And you'll be like, if that was me, I'd be thinking, I'm not playing well here, I need to do something. But he just keeps doing the right things, movement, one chance, boom.
But did you see the assist to Foden as well? It's not as if he got that. That was one of the best balls you'll see.
Yeah.
He goes as an input. I was mesmerised watching him against Man United because he wasn't as if he was like. It sounds. I'll probably get criticised for saying it. Like he wasn't like having a blinder, was he? Like he wasn't all over the.
But that's where, like I'm saying, and what you're saying there, that's an attribute because it's like you're a ghost in the game. Yeah. Where I know defenders are always going to be aware of him because of what he can do, but subconsciously, they focus on this player, that player that keeps getting ball. You kind of forget about him, and then he pops up, and his anticipation.
Yeah, the best goal scorers in the world are unbelievably patient. Lewandowski. Haaland,
Benzema.
He could be on. How many times have you watched Champions League game and on the analysis they're saying, it's half time and Lewandowski's not done much, Haaland's not done much, Cristiano Ronaldo's not done much. But he's just waiting on the back line, making movements. The defenders are dropping off, thinking, is he going to get the ball? Not got the ball right now. So we're safe. Switch off for 1 second. He gets that chance, and you've seen. To be fair to him, he doesn't miss, does he? No. He scored nearly every chance I've seen him have. I think the other day they beat Wolves yesterday, didn't they? 4-0. Saw the highlights last night. Southampton 4-0 last night, and he actually missed it. He hit the post a couple of times, missed a few chances, and he's like running off, like laughing and that when he's missing his chances because he's got. But do you know what's funny? Michael Smith, who plays for us, beginning of the season. I shouldn't even say this on camera because it looks like I've not a clue about football. Because Haaland's come to the Premier League, and obviously I knew he was a goal scorer. But I say it's like a different level. Like you can't just come and score every day. £50, £50 or £100 bet that he wouldn't get 20 league goals. Listen, wait for it. I paid him out after 2 weeks. He's not even got it yet. I've paid him out. Yeah, I just said, just have your money because I'm not even waiting for him to get it.
But most people saw like you because I don't watch. I'm not going to lie and say I watched the Bundesliga, but I've watched Haaland. I've watched a couple of games that he was involved in. No, everyone's alive to say, I watched the Bundesliga. I don't. But you could see by the way he takes over. But I was thinking, he's not going to do that in the Premier League. He'll come and have a good season, maybe 15 goals.
That's what I thought.
Maybe 15 goals and have a rough patch. He scored 20 goals before. Yeah. We're in October.
Yeah. That's why it's laughable. I said he wouldn't get 20 Premier League goals as if that, and now it's like a horrific shout. But like Son and Salah were the top 2 goal scorers in the league. The only players to get above 20 last year.
He's 8 goals away from the Golden Boot last year. 8 goals. It's October.
And Son and Salah are killers. They're the only 2 players in the league to get over 20 goals last year, and so it's not easy.
Oh my God!
So how do you think? Obviously, you're talking about longevity and consistency, season after season after season. How do you think other clubs, defenders, managers are going to approach him going forward? Because they've got to figure out a way to stop him.
I think you've got, because I heard an interview when Pep was saying somebody said, "What's the difference between Haaland and Messi?" Because they score in every game.
Yeah.
And he said Haaland needs his teammates.
Yes.
Messi can do it by himself. So I think the best way to stop Erling Haaland is stop this supply line. So if you stop De Bruyne and you stop Foden, he's not going to get chances. So that's if you let it go into his feet on the halfway line, he's not going to turn dribble past 3 people and score a goal. But if he gets in 1v1 or gets a little tiny chance in the box, he's 100% scoring. So I think you've got to stop the supply line to De Bruyne, but you
look at all the City's team and
you put a full press on against City and Ederson just plays you through 1v1.
Yeah.
So
De Bruyne is unbelievable as well, isn't he? I mean, it's like it's stopping him's an hard task in itself. Never mind Haaland, but then you're looking about Foden as well, the way he's performing at the moment. But stopping De Bruyne is the best player in the league at the moment, isn't he? Well, I think he is.
Like Dave just said, you look at you stop Foden and De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva and Mahrez play. So then what do you do? It's like you put off, like I was just saying there, you sit off them, you give De Bruyne time to pass, he'll pick him out and score. You put a full press on, Ederson just shells it over the top here and Haaland's through 1v1.
Question, right? Dave and Josh, I'm going to ask questions in this little part. Are Man City the best team the Premier League's ever seen?
Come on, everyone said this.
No, that's why I'm asking you the question, because it was trending the other day.
Yeah, no, but everyone said this about Liverpool when Liverpool were playing brilliant for a couple of years. Oh, it's the best team ever. Longevity. Let's see how they got. Listen, City are doing a great job, and they do.
They've dominated the Premier League for years,
but
they've won 4 out of 5.
They're close to it. They're close. They're not quite Man United yet. Not yet.
I honestly, this could be a horrific shout. I just don't think that unbelievable Man United team was ridiculous. I don't see how they would get the ball off City. If they play against this City team, they wouldn't have the ball. They might counter-attack and score with Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez and that on the break, but they wouldn't have possession. No, not a chance would they have possession.
It's a difficult. Listen, it's always difficult when you're comparing.
Comparing
it's
errors.
like comparing fighter against
It
fighter.
is a ridiculous thing to do as well, because it's like boxing when you say, "Oh, would Tyson Fury beat Mike Tyson?"
Yeah.
Well, it's
I think so. Yeah,
but you can have an opinion on it. Like it's like the pound for pound list.
Yeah.
Who's better? But what? So if everyone was the same height, same weight, and had the same reach, like
I just think City are brilliant, and it's hard to say as a United fan they are brilliant. You can't deny that they're brilliant, outstanding, and to watch, they're great to watch as well. Play some amazing football.
Best manager in the world.
Yeah, without a doubt for me.
He's got to win the Champions League this year, guys. He's got to.
Do you think?
Yeah, but I still think him as he's the best for me without a doubt.
But do you think his credibility as a manager depends on winning another Champions League, though?
With this Man City team, I would say, I'm not going to say he's under pressure if he doesn't win it, but surely those Man City owners are thinking, listen, we've given you the best striker in the world, you've got the best...
Yeah, but if you get rid of... So he doesn't win the Champions League, you say, we need somebody that's going to win the Champions League.
I know, who are you going to bring in?
Who are you going to bring in that's better than Pep?
I'm not, that's what I was just about to say. But surely those Man City owners are thinking, the same as Abramovich did for years, looking at all these Chelsea managers. Look how ruthless he was in getting rid of managers. Di Matteo won the Champions League and got rid of him.
Yeah,
I'm not comparing, but I'm saying the situation is you've got hungry owners who want that European Cup. If Guardiola goes out this year, bear in mind, we're all agreeing that Haaland's the best striker in the world at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
De Bruyne, best midfielder in the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, I'll give you it.
You've got to be winning the Champions League with that team.
But all I'll say is last year. So this is what I don't want to look like I'm a footballer saying our fans don't know what they're talking about. So last year when they got knocked out to Real Madrid in the Champions League when Benzema, they absolutely pummeled them.
Yeah. So did Chelsea.
Yeah, and Benzema scored in the last. I think he scored in the last minute, and they went out. But it was you play that game 500 times and City win 499 out of 500.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's these one-off games. You can't judge Pep Guardiola as a manager because the defender makes a mistake.
But do you think now, because we were always talking, they were having so many chances, I remember that game, so many chances, it was like unbelievable that they didn't win the game. Now they've got Haaland, do you think that's the difference? So do you think they win Champions League this year?
Well, yeah, I do think so. I'm not saying I'm 100 because they've had good seasons, even when they played. But when they played Chelsea in the Champions League final, I think was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago. It wasn't as if like they were much the better team in that game, but they had a better squad. Do you know what I mean? Than Chelsea performed better in the league, but it's a one-off game, isn't it? And they've been.
So you're saying if you're saying that Pep's under pressure doesn't win, why haven't they won the Champions League? Is it down to him?
No.
Or is it down to players?
That's what I'm saying. So my question to you is, does it change his credibility as manager? And if they don't, it doesn't for me because Alex Ferguson, you probably think the best manager of all time. I don't know.
He's the best manager in the Premier League history. I'm not saying he's the best manager of all time.
Would you say his Man United team? So back then, that was like they just signed the best player after that season from every. They had the most money. Everyone says that they didn't spend money. If other teams were doing well, they bought Robin van Persie. They just took the players off him every single year.
They were very clever in the buys.
And how many European Championships did Fergie win with Man U in 25 years? It's not easy to win the Champions League, is it? No. Do you know what I mean? No. It doesn't derail you as a man. Ancelotti's won 5.
Yeah.
He's a proper winner though, isn't he, Ancelotti? I mean,
unbelievable manager.
As I say, that Real Madrid team is not. I'm not going to say it's one of the worst ones, but it's definitely one of the weakest. It's one of the weakest Real Madrid teams I've seen in my lifetime. They've won the Champions League.
They have an incredible mentality, really.
Yeah, unbelievable. Never say that. I love the Chelsea game.
But I think that's like an arrogance from the club, innit? Like
that's something that's
bred into DNA Real Madrid. You come through Real Madrid and you win the Champions League. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like a club thing.
Yeah.
Off the topic, what's happened to AC Milan, by the way? They were great when I was growing up. They were great.
I know, yeah.
Remember they all had the veterans in there, all the old boys in there.
I played with Philippe Senderos at Rangers, and he played in the AC Milan team. And he showed me a picture of a champion. He's like, Josh, look at this. The picture, like him lining up for a Champions League game. And it was like Beckham, Kaká, Pirlo, Inzaghi, like all these unbelievable players. And I was just there must have been 2 hours at training just asking him, because I loved Kaká growing up. I was just asking him questions about it, and he's like, obviously just saying like the normal blokes and like all this and that, like proper sound and that, but I used to love that AC Milan team.
Just thought I'd throw that in there. Well, we'll move on. We'll talk about it's not the most positive thing in the world. I know it's dragging on a bit, but it is the biggest topic in boxing at the moment, and that's Conor Benn with the Chris Eubank fight that we were meant to watch last night, Dave. Went to bed at 9 o'clock last night, feeling quite sad. But no, it's the biggest subject in boxing, and it's probably performance-enhancing drugs in itself. But Dave, I'll let you take the lead on that.
Well, first of all, I mean, like I've said before, it's genuinely, I think, out of everything, every drugs fail that we've seen, there's been a few, but out of every drugs fail that's come about, this is one that hits home the hardest, I think, because it's the most high in this country anyway. It's the highest profile fight. It's somebody that we've followed from his pro debut. The country has got behind him. You know, the fans have got behind him. It brings a nostalgia back with the father. You know, who's an absolute legend and a hero of the game in Nigel. So to move into a massive fight like this and then have it taken away from you on fight week under the circumstances, for me, definitely it was the most disappointed I've ever been. It's the hardest hitting drugs fail that I've ever, or adverse finding that I've ever experienced in my time in boxing. I'm just really disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm gutted, and also I'm really, really angry about it as well. Because whatever the reasoning, whatever the excuse, when you look at what the drug is, and you look at what it does and can do, what it can do, what it masks, what extra testosterone that going into your body does, and then you're taking it into a fight, that's dangerous. That is dangerous, and it's unacceptable. The whole thing about when somebody gets caught with an adverse finding is the shock, the horror, I've never put anything into my body that's illegal, that's any substances. But also what I will say is fighters out there have got to take responsibility for themselves. We have teams, we have people that we bring on board and we trust. But these teams seem to be getting bigger and bigger per camp, per generation of fighters. They're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And almost so many people are, I saw somebody talk about it on a trainer's point of view, and I agree, where you get guys coming into the gym and just, inviting, people ask you to, I get all the time, people asking if you can come into the gym. And my gym's a closed door policy. Nobody comes into that gym when we're at work. But people allow it, and it's nice and it's great. Fans come in, whatever. Next minute, these fans become experts. I'm not saying all of them, but certain people become experts. They might be doing a PT. They might be a PT. They might be doing a course at university on S&C and stuff like that. Oh, can I just come and pick up a bit of experience? They get a bit of experience. They've been around the fight, around the gym.
And they start thinking they're an expert.
Yeah, and the next minute is they become a part of that team, or they go in and become a coach. And the thing is, the people that you bring into your team, you have to know their history. And I know it's hard because there's people that are coming out of university and
service
trying to get in. But you kind of need to know who you're allowing you to have an input into your career.
Dr. Usman.
We'll get to that.
Anybody. But if you're telling me to take something, have this vitamin, research what it is. Know what it is. Whatever your nutrition it is, and we all have nutritionists now and S&C coaches and things like that. Whatever they tell you to have, no, you're responsible at the end of the day, because when a drugs fail occurs, everybody goes like this.
Affects the whole team,
right? But you're left with all the shit 100%. That comes. Now, I'm not saying, because we don't know all the facts with Conor, and I'm not backing him up and sticking him up because I don't know the facts, but at the same time, I'm not going to go out there and hammer him yet. Well, I kind of have, because at the end of the day,
you want to know what he's going to say
first. What he's had to say, but you're responsible.
Yeah.
Somebody comes along. If you was in a nightclub, right, and your mate come along and just said, "Oh, take this.
Here's some chewing gum.
Right, take this. Oh, it's gonna, whatever. Just fucking, I don't know. But you're not just gonna take something off somebody.
Yeah.
On a night out or whatever, as a normal person, you don't know what it is. If this is your career, you know there's drug tests. You know what the image of people that have failed drug tests becomes. It's something that never goes back. You be careful about what you're taking into you.
But on the flip side as well, I'm not sticking up for Conor, and I've never. The drugs in boxing, as a footballer, is a lot more. I still wanted to see the fight. Like to you two, it's obviously. I know it's serious. But even like I've seen all the boxers' reaction, like Michael Conor and Liam Smith, like fuming about it, like you're fuming about it. But if I was on Conor Benn's side, if I was, like we were speaking earlier, if he's got, I know a couple of friends who obviously box and they've got nutritionists and stuff, and I know for a 100% fact that they trust their nutritionist that much, they'll go, oh, there's your porridge in the morning, there's your vitamins.
Yeah.
It's not like they get the phone out and go on Global Joe and go, oh, what vitamin's that? No. And then check they just go, oh, thanks for the porridge, thanks. And they take the vitamins and they trust them to do the job for them.
You have to know who's coming on, who you've got on your team.
Yeah, and ultimately it's his fault because he's obviously trusting the wrong people, if that is the case, and he's not known he's cheating. Well, you obviously think he's cheating, don't you?
I'll get to my point on that.
I'm not saying he's not. All I'm saying, it's difficult because you can say, when it's somebody that you don't know and somebody that it's far away, we're all quick to jump on it and believe the worst and everything like that, right? It's very easy. But when it's somebody you actually know, you kind of like, because you're shocked, you've got that element of shock. It's like, listen, I know this kid and I know he's, but really, do you know him? But you just want to believe the good in it.
But you're not judging Conor Benn's personality or whether you like him as a fella. Listen, you're judging the crime he seemed to committed.
And if this is a case, and it looks, from what I know about this test and what I know about the drug, in my eyes, it's bad and it needs. And this whole, does he have we're going to reschedule the fight? No, he's failed a drugs test. Yeah. With a failed drugs test, unless some sort of miraculous explanation happens, he's banning.
But that's my point on everyone surrounding this test. Everybody doesn't want to criticise Conor Benn because they're close with him or like.
No, but I understand. What I'm saying is it's difficult to say it out, but within myself, I'm fuming.
The first time I ever met Eddie Hearn was a couple of weeks ago at a Kid Galahad show, and he came up to me and said he watches the podcast. He came up to me and said he watches the podcast and like, oh, how'd you get on today? How's Sheffield Wednesday? Like, I'd never met him in my life. Like, I was thinking, oh, what a nice fella. But I proper liked him, and I love Eddie Hearn. But I disagree with everything he's done this week. It don't mean I don't like Eddie Hearn, but I think everything he's done this week's horrific. Yeah. But it don't mean I don't like him or I don't like Conor Benn. I just think what they've done is they're guilty, aren't they?
It's right. First of all, I'll go what you said there, Dave. I've spent time in Abel Sanchez's gym, and I know you work with a trainer, Danny Wilson, don't you, Dave? Mm-hmm. So you trust him. You've built a rapport with him. Mm-hmm. Abel Sanchez will not let an S&C coach in his gym. If you have an S&C coach, he won't work with you. That's a fact. He wants to do everything because I wouldn't say he's a control freak. Maybe he is a bit, but I don't know. He's won 20 world titles, so he's obviously doing something right. But he is meticulous about having small teams. If you have a huge entourage, he hates it. When Golovkin started, he had a bigger team. He hated it. He likes small teams. And I've always said to the guys I was in, but keep your team small. Keep your team small of who you actually trust around you, because everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got an opinion on how you can improve and what that. Just trust your coach, trust your small set of people. Now, going on to the drug situation, and I said on an interview the other day that we're all hypocrites, and I do believe that we are hypocrites because we would have all watched the fight. Yeah. Correct or not, Dave? Yeah, we would have all watched the fight.
I was still gutted it was off.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I was thinking to myself. Oh, God, I can't believe it. And everyone's lying if they're saying otherwise. Oh God, I wish this fight was on. I wish that. But then the the boxing person in you
Yeah.
are thinking, this fight can't go ahead because it's a disgrace. It brings boxing into... Boxing's already laughed at because it's ungoverned, It's not governed by... I said, when Conor Benn's pinged that test, I'll be honest, everyone knows I respect Eddie a lot. I respect Frank Smith very lot. I've got a good relationship with Eddie and Frank Smith. Wasserman's as well. We're doing a fight with them soon. Like, I respect them, respect Calla, Nissa, but the fact that anybody's tried to keep that fight on is bonkers. Yeah. As soon as that test as soon as he got picked, it's not as if it's like even a recreational drug or this drug masks steroids. It masks steroids and it also produces testosterone. Yeah. That is a cross, finish, fights off, show it. And the only reason why I've not said Conor Benn is a cheating bastard, I'll say that. I've not said it is because I want to hear what he's got to say first. What do I think at the moment? I think he's cheated. Yeah. I think he's cheated, and people think I'm nuts bringing this up as well. But there's a film, Cool Runnings, one of my favourite films of all time. Do you remember when Doris asked John Candy, his name, I think he's Irving Blitzer, said, why did you cheat? He got his gold medals taken off him in the film storyline. Why did you cheat? And he goes, I had to win. I had to win. And if Conor has cheated and he's cheated for this fight, young people, anybody in life can make a mistake. You can make mistakes. In boxing, it's heavier, and you know it's heavier because your lives are at risk in that fight. But I think the pressure was so much on him.
That's how I see it.
But what upsets me the most is no one's pressured you to take this fight, Conor. No one's told you need to fight Eubank and go up in 3 weights. Stay in your division.
But surely it just tells you that nobody knows what anybody's thinking. But deep down in his soul, he didn't believe he was going to win that fight. Yeah.
That's what I believe.
I didn't think he was going to win.
But you see, the way I looked at it is that the pressure of his dad's name. Everybody's compared.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody's compared seniors, Benn Eubank, advertising, everything. This fight was made
legacy.
Because of those. It's their whole legacy. Yeah. And some people can cope with that sort of pressure, and some people, and from what I've seen of Conor, it seems an emotional sort of kid. He's a young. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but a young kid. But when you've probably seen it with football, where
I've had it to a lot less fame degree, but growing up as a kid with my old man playing football, you get everything. You're only here because your old man was a footballer. You're only doing this because your old man was a footballer. Yeah. When actually I'm doing it because I fucking bend balls in the top bin every 2 minutes. You know what I
mean? but so you got
4 goals this season, Josh. So calm it down, son.
So you got it at that sort of level. But you imagine the whole country, the whole world, out of generations.
Yeah.
All that pressure onto you. Now I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm not saying you should have done it. But if you can't handle that pressure, then back out of the fight, because the way that they've gone about it, by looking for that, everybody's looking for an edge in sport, everybody, and they're looking to do what's right, to take it to the edge of what's right. Once you cross that line to bend that, and somebody tells you, if we time it right, you'll get away with it, this, whatever, bringing in doctors, bringing in other people like that think they know best and they know how to cheat systems and shit like that. You have, whether or not it's done, you've cheated.
Yeah. Well, what is your thoughts on these interviews that are coming out of this Dr. Usman guy who's saying 80-90% of the top boxers are on drugs?
I don't believe that for 1 minute.
You don't believe that 80% of drug boxers are on drugs?
No. There is a percentage, but not fucking 80%. Are you having a laugh?
I don't.
8 out of 10 boxers that you're telling me that they're cheating.
Hold on a minute, Dave. I don't agree with that at all.
I was going to say,
his facial expression told me that he believes it.
But what I'm saying, what is worrying?
Yeah? You just shit it there because you thought you was going to iron him out.
Sounds mate.
I actually promise I weren't at all.
Go on.
I like Dave. I don't think he's going to get up.
So you disagree with the 80%?
I disagree with him, but I do believe it's a high percentage.
Oh, yeah.
Listen to me, right? The pound for pound number 1 fighter in the world, or number 2, Canelo Alvarez, failed a drug test. That sets a precedence, doesn't it? If he's failing drug tests, he's had a 6-month ban. People think you can get away with it. Drug testing. I honestly think boxing needs an overriding governing body. Yeah, an overriding governing
like the FA and PFA in football.
Forget like FIFA. I know they're not a great organisation themselves, but I'm saying boxing needs literally to come together, everybody, and say, whoever fails a drug test for performance enhancing drugs, you get a life ban. I guarantee it stops. I guarantee it stops. Because even if it's a low risk getting caught, imagine if he got caught, your career's finished.
Even if it's an accident, it's
finished.
not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
it's your responsibility what goes into your mouth. It's that's or
do you know what
jabbed in your arms.
Do you know what I think? Because that's not going to happen.
No,
that's never going to happen. So it's all right. We can always say.
I said a 5-year ban.
Right. What I think should happen. Do you know, like the police with law with drugs, right? Your recreation drugs, whatever. They categorise, aren't they? Cat A, B, C, whatever it is, and the sentences reflect how hard the drug is that you've got caught for.
Yeah,
right?
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
I think boxing should have that. So you can get done for
smoking weed.
No, forget even that. You go to a shop, buy a drink, it's got a bit of stimulant in, you get busted for it, right?
It's like if you have a Lemsip, for example.
Right, yeah, right. So that's that's one category. A year's ban.
Cat C.
Right? Yeah, a year's ban. Then you get another drug that's a little bit worse, a diuretic or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Category. Then you've got your fucking hard, your peds, your hard shit, right? And then they're the ones you've got to go with a sentence. So a cat one, like a Lemsip something, is a year.
Yeah.
The next one's 4 years.
What do you think Conor Benn will get?
Do you know what want me to be honest?
Don't think he'll get a ban.
I don't think he's going to get fuck all because of this loophole with UCAD and fucking... Because the board will turn around and say, well, we don't recognise VADA, so how can we say that... How can we... or not them, but the lawyers that are getting involved will say, well, if you don't recognise it, how can you acknowledge it and then ban him for something that you don't recognise? I think that's what's going to happen, and that will be
Well, that's the wrong
bullshit.
thing of boxing, isn't it? That's what
100%.
that there is what you've just said is bang on correct,
and this is why the board needs to turn around straight away, as in Monday. They get back into office.
New rule.
And sort out new rule. We recognise VADA, we recognise WADA, and we recognise UCAD, and then those three need to get their heads together.
And make
The
this
same shit, because you've got shit that's on a ban list on one of them that's not on another one.
Yeah.
Well, how the fuck does that work?
Yeah, but I don't get how they're not. So like we have to do our 1 hour time slot every single day, all year round of where you are. So
whereabouts, same as boxing.
If you sign up.
No,
Yeah,
that's
if
what
you
I'm
sign
saying.
up,
But surely you should have to do it every single day, like random, because it's like I heard an interview the other day. I don't know who it was, but if you know when the drug testers are coming and you are cheating, you can time your cycle to not get caught. It's like that's just a well-known fact. But I feel like we get tested more than we get drug tested all the time at football, and it's like even if I say I'm on drugs, what am I going to do? Complete 90 minutes a little bit easier. I'm not going to be able to hit a free kick over the wall, am I? Do you know what I'm saying?
It's true.
So like we get drug tested all the time, but for
boxing, it's about money,
hair,
Josh.
do we do hair?
Do you know
piss,
what? I mean, I don't know if somebody out there will know, but I heard that a way to clear this up with, when somebody says, oh, I've not this, I've not. If you test the hair follicle, that'll tell you, and the darker the hair is, the better, the more accurate it is apparently. If you tested a hair follicle, it'll tell you how if it's been heavy steroid use.
But if that was the case, is that not what they do?
Well, you'd think
because we do hair follicle when the drug tests come into the so you could be training.
Yeah.
You look on the side, there's the geezers with the vests, and you're like, oh fuck's sake, not here again. They're there all the time, and then they'll pick your name out. You'll go upstairs. But they don't. They'd shave my whole armpits off the other week. Took every single hair on my armpit.
We don't have that. We have either a piss or a blood test.
Every single hair off my armpit, piss test. Off you go. Obviously.
For everyone that didn't want to know, Josh has got hairy armpits.
Not anymore because she shaved the fuckers off. But that's what they do. But they're always at the training ground doing. Honestly, every time they get their lads are like, "Fuck me!" They must think we're on something because they're here all the fucking time.
Yeah.
But I said, what can we actually do?
See, the other thing is with boxing as well is if you're not in competition, people retire and then come out of retirement, long-term injuries, they're not getting tested. So while you're out of the game and you've got
retired,
and you've got no,
it's a very good point you bring up. That is.
Then you could be, you're in the gym staying fit and what have you.
Doping
you could
like
be
fuck.
doping like fuck.
And then you come back all clean, but you're an absolute monster.
Yeah.
So let me just end it on the Conor Benn thing. How do you think he'll get a punishment?
I'm going to add two things to that. Sorry. I feel sorry for Tony Sims out of all this as well, because I genuinely believe him wholeheartedly. Yeah. I don't believe he would have known if Conor has cheated, which he unfortunately looks like he has. I don't believe for 1 second Tony Sims has known.
No,
and my answer to that question is no. I don't believe he's going to get a ban, but I think the whole situation stinks, and he does need banning. If he's cheated, he needs banning. Simple.
Well, I've got another question for you. Do you think Conor Benn will fight Chris Eubank Jr. in the next 18 months?
If he fights the next after failing a drug test, if he fights him in the next 18 months, I think it's just.
But this is what's horrific about it. Yeah,
it's a bigger fight.
It's everyone wants to see it now.
It's a bigger fight.
It's a sick sport.
Do you know if the fight would have gone ahead, it'd have sold more pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
That's probably why they wanted it to go ahead.
Do you know
so
what people
much?
have got to get out of their heads, right? The thing about boxing, and this is as the older I'm getting, and the more shit that's happening in the sport and stuff, not just about peds and stuff. The more I'm seeing about how good fighters, certain fighters, just don't get looked after, don't get pushed rather than personalities and things like that. The more that I'm seeing about this sport is people need to forget the fact that don't romanticize about boxing, right? It's a fucking hard sport from a fighter's point of view. People not trainers and managers and stuff like that. Listen, it's hard for everybody. It's hard for everybody. And all this shitstorm and everything. Forget about Eddie Earn and what you think about Eddie Earn. The people that work at Matchroom doing the normal jobs, the media guys down to the people that do the tickets down to the people doing it, the great people, and they're working the bollocks off, and it's all been for nothing, and they're all tarred with all this bullshit that's going on.
And
right?
in Eddie's defence, it's not his fault that
it's not his fault that Conor failed a drug test. No, but he's gone about it the wrong way.
Yeah, it was.
But I understand is governed by lawyers. Straight as soon as something like this happens, the lawyers are straight onto you. You can't say this. You can't say that. You have to not do any interviews or don't just say this. If you're going to say anything, you can only say that while we sort things out and sort out the mess that is Conor Benn. So he's kind of governed by that.
Do you think he's basically in this instance he's put business before the love of the sport?
100%. What love of the sport?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, 100%. Because from soon as this fight has a fail, right, you have to come out straight away and cancel the fight. Because otherwise, because he's under pressure from DAZN and all this. Listen, DAZN needed this to claw back some money, subscribers and shit like that. So he's under pressure. So I understand that point of view. But what people have to understand is, at the end of the day, he's a businessman. Every promoter is a businessman because they're paying out, they've got to bring it back in. So they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. And I've found out now with fighters as well, is they don't generally give a fuck about fighters. They give a fuck about the one that's going to be the biggest star, the one that's going to be... They like him, don't get me wrong, they like him, but they don't give a fuck about him.
I need to ask one thing to you, because I can't ask myself this question. Well, I suppose you could actually. If one of your fighters in your gym popped for a performance-enhancing drug, and you knew it was the case, what's your response to them?
I wouldn't be training again.
You'd say, get out of my gym.
Yeah, because all you can ask every one of my fighters,
it wasn't like a leading question. I'm just asking you as your opinion because you're a trainer that's never been involved in that. So
I don't have people coming to my gym. The people that I work with, there's 2 nutritionists I work.
Danny Wilson.
And there's Danny Wilson. That's it. Every fighter that comes to my gym, I say, you need to work with this guy. Even when Chisora came, I wasn't happy with having his own S&C team and everything. Because I know, not that I'm knocking anybody else, but I work with Danny and I trust Danny. And if I said Danny, his feet are slow and his feet are slowing, I need drills to help speed his feet up, he will communicate with me and we do things like that. The nutritionist as well, full lab reports, everything that they do everything down to the money, to the T. And I trust these guys. But also, my fighters are smart in the respect that when they're told by a nutritionist, this nutrient, these vitamins you need to take, this, they're clued up. I'll tell you who's one of the most clued up people on stuff like this. It's Jordan Gill. He knows everything about everything. He's so meticulous, and that's what they need to be. And so it wouldn't happen with any of them, but I'm also very adamant about when you take a drink, and it's so easy for a fight. They've got to be clued up, especially these young kids that are coming up. You can't just as a popping along to the shop and get a drink. I'll tell you one quick story. Jamie McDonnell, I managed him, but I didn't train him. The fight with Kameda in Texas, the first fight in Kameda in Texas.
What a performance, by the way.
Right? But it could have been blown. Listen, so what happened with Jamie was 3 weeks before the fight, his training didn't go over there. I had to go over. He asked me, can I go over training for 3 weeks? Go out. I went over, did everything 3 weeks with him. He weighs in, gone back to his room with his wife, right? Just get about. We've done what I do, and I need to see him about something. So I've gone back to his room, knocked on his door. He's opened it up. I've walked in. On top of the TV, there's a carton. I've just looked at the carton. I've said, "What's that?" "Oh, it's an electrolyte drink." I went, "Where the fuck you got that from?" He went, "I just got it from shop." I went, "Are you stupid?" I said, "No." I said, "You ain't open it." He was like, No, I why, what's up? I said, "Mate," I said, "have you checked what's in it?" I said, "Do you know what's in it?" It's like, "Oh no, I just thought it was electrolyte drink." He just thought it was like a Lucozade or whatever.
A Red Bull.
Be all right, right? So I'm straight onto the phone to Kerry Kays, and Kerry knows everything about what's in it, every band list and everything. So rang and Kerry's like, "No, everything's all right."
But it could have been.
Yeah. And my point is, it's as simple as that. Somebody that's not clued up, a trainer or a nutritionist or whatever, cannot be with them 24/7. Once they're not in our visual sight, they've got to take responsibility for themselves.
And by the way, we spoke about Conor Benn, but little shout out to Chris Eubank, man. What a guy!
Chris Eubank so well.
Yes.
If he was a stock, I would be throwing all sorts of money at investing in him, man.
It's a shame he's 33.
He is rising.
Because he's now like almost.
Can I just touch on one thing though? Did you see the picture of him?
He did look
great cheese on his torso, couldn't you?
It's a good job he had a beard.
It looked rough.
It's a good job he had a beard.
Yes, it looked.
Shows
rough.
what a professional he is, though.
Yeah, he's an animal. But
let's move on.
Will Marcus Rashford make England's World Cup squad?
No.
You don't think he'll make the squad?
No, do not.
We've got he's in a bit of form at the moment.
Is he?
He's got 4 goals in the last 2-3
I
games.
think he'll make the squad. I don't know if he deserves to make the squad, but I think he will make the squad because Gareth Southgate knows him. He adds a little bit of different dimension, and I think if we do play against a good team on the counter-attack, he could be useful. You don't want him to make the squad because you don't like him.
I don't say I dislike him. Shame
He said to us.
Sam had a little encounter. Do you want to tell him?
No, I'm not going to go into that. But like, he's not my favourite person I've ever met, if I'm honest. But it is what it is. Well, we won't.
But anyway,
on divulge into that. Joshua, next question.
Pure football reasons. I think he'll make the squad because on the count, Jared Bowen.
Are you? No.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
No?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah?
I would rather have Rashford in than...
I would rather have Rashford than Jared Bowen.
Really?
But only because if you play... I know I love Brazil. If you play Brazil, yeah, you need a counter-attacking threat. And as much as I don't think Rashford is on...
You need a good defender, that's what you need.
As much as I don't think Rashford is on Foden's level, Sterling's level, I don't think there's many better players in England, to be honest, on the counter-attack as effective as Marcus Rashford. And I think that could be a useful tool for England in the World Cup.
I'm looking at Rashford and all last season and everything. It looked like a player who wasn't enjoying his football. It looked like a kid.
He doesn't smile on the pitch.
Nobody did at Man United though, Dave.
But, shut up.
It's true.
But, if you look at him now, recently, right, and we've still got, 4 or 5 weeks still, right?
Is that all it is?
Yeah, I think it's 5 weeks at World Cup.
It's weird, isn't it, a World Cup this time
So,
Maybe
if you look at him now...
27 injuries, carry on.
Yeah, it was 65 last week.
Yeah.
He's going up. If you look at him now, he's banging some goals. He's smiling again. He looks happy again. Now, if he can carry that form in, you have to take players that are banging in goals and are in form and looking like they want to play. And I think what he's done in the past, forget about the last year or so, and you look at if he's come through that other side, I think you have to take him.
And whether you rate him or not, you cannot deny that he is a goal threat.
Yeah,
he's proven to score goals.
I never said I don't rate him. By the way.
I'm not a huge fan. Brilliant player compared to England's other options. I wouldn't play him in my England team, but I still think he has to go just based on pure, like I've just said, his counter-attacking ability. I think
James Maddison going, Josh.
I don't think he'll go. No.
but do you think he should? I'd like him to go.
The argument is that people are saying with set pieces and free kicks and all
but
this.
You've got other options.
But
I understand that.
it's not like Trent and Ward-Prowse can't take free kicks.
Trippier as well.
Yeah.
Trippier.
Unbelievable.
And James Maddison, in my opinion, technically an unbelievable footballer. But in that position, I honestly just don't think he's as good as Foden and Mason Mount.
So you don't think he's good enough to get in the squad?
No. I didn't say I don't think he's good enough to get in the squad. I think he is.
He's saying he's not as good as Mount.
I think he's 100% good enough to play for England. But I think if you look at the options that are playing in his position, I don't think he's better than them. But if Gareth Southgate picked him tomorrow to start, you won't see me moaning about it. But I just Mason Mount, Jack Grealish, Phil Foden. You can't really Sterling.
Has Jack Grealish done enough to get on the plane? See, I'm a big fan of Jack Grealish, but I'm saying so far.
Yeah, but it gives you that little bit of option to if we're struggling, we need a goal. Even if he's not starting, struggling, need a goal. You need sometimes in these games where everybody's playing it safe. Don't take that risk. I think you need a player on your team
as an impact kind of player.
Yeah, is willing to just fuck it and go for it. And
don't get me wrong though. Maddison's pushing. His goals and assists. You've seen the stats, better than all those players in the Premier League at the minute. He's playing for a worse team. Yeah. So
I know Forest aren't very good, but he played very well the other night, unbelievably well.
Like I just said, brilliant player. And in my opinion, he's not better than Mount, Foden. But I'm assuming in a lot of other people's opinion, he is. Football's about opinions, isn't it? Gareth Southgate doesn't seem to favour him over those players. He's not really picked him in the squads. No. And I don't think he will pick him in this World Cup squad.
Last one on it. Where do England finish in the tournament, Dave? If you had to put your money on it, how far do you think they'll go? Just a quick prediction on it.
It's difficult to say because they've not looked great, have they? So if you're going to go on the performances, then you can say not very well. But then also you can turn around and say, well, throughout all of the tournaments, we always seem to coast through group stages and everything, and kind of we have these big hopes on tournaments, and apart from the last two, we've always been let down.
The weather's a big factor.
Yeah,
a big factor.
Do you know what I think as well? Is because it's November. I'm interested to see how players
they're going to be fit, match fit.
Because at the end of a long, hard season,
tired
compared to in the middle of the season when they should be at their peak.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a really good World Cup. I'm going to say, because I'm an optimist, I'm going to say semi-final.
But even so, he gets if as ruthless as football is, if we don't win, I don't think we'll win the tournament. I think if we don't get to the final, Southgate's gone.
I think I agree with that.
I think
because we've got semi-final.
I want him to go now.
I think he'll go, but I don't think he'll get sacked. I think he'll yeah, I think because the Tides. Remember back in the day, there was stuff like media start calling managers' names and start turning on them. Southgate's not had that because he's done so well in tournament football. But surely, you need to be judged on the tournament football. And for England, we've not won anything for years and years and years. To go and do what he's done, a semi and a final, should give him some credence and respect going forward. But now it seems, because obviously we're on a bad run, the tide's turning on Southgate, and I think he knows that. He'll see how yeah, that's it. He won't want to undo all the hard work, all the good credit he's got. I think he'll see how it goes in the tournament, and if we go out gallantly and we've done really well, and you get knocked out on penalties or something
4-3 to Brazil in the semi-final, good.
I think Brazil win the World Cup.
What about Argentina?
It's Messi's last one in it, so he could produce something. He's the best player of all time.
Okay, quick one, and then we'll move on because we've got a few minutes left. I think England will get to the quarter-final. I think we'll get knocked out by a team like a Brazil.
I agree with you. Unfortunately, I agree with you. Yeah.
Sorry for
I'm in dream world. I'm going to semi-final.
All the optimists. I apologise. Last little subject. Won't go on about it too long. But Tyson Fury's fighting apparently on December.
Shields Marshall, man.
Shields Marshall. We'll just do a quick prediction about that at the end. But December the 3rd, Tyson Fury is going to fight, reportedly, Derek Chisora 3. The first two fights have been as one-sided as what England playing Brazil will probably be like.
The second one.
Ridiculous. The second one, Tyson did win. I love Del Boy. I think he's great. Tyson won with one hand in that second fight.
Is that the one that went southpaw in?
He got stopped on his stall.
In the copper box, he was literally it was a beating.
Nobody wants a cat with a little string and they're just flicking that ball around the piece of string.
I think Tyson and Derek deep down are very good friends, and I think Tyson's giving Derek a payday. And if that is what it is, fair play to him. Let go on it. But I will not be excited to watch that fight, Dave. What about you?
No.
Yeah. No, what about you, Josh?
Oh, here's a question.
Go on.
Which would you rather happen, Chisora or Manuel Charr?
I would much prefer to see Chisora fight Charr. Never mind who's
No,
going to fight
no,
Charr.
which one? No,
A triple threat match, Dave.
I genuinely
Fury
think they
against
could
Charr or Fury against Chisora.
I genuinely think you could get Fury in with Charr and then
Chisora.
Del Boy in after.
No, a triple threat match. I promise.
Answer the question.
Oh, Chisora all day long.
There.
Manuel
So that's the only-
Charr's getting
yeah.
knocked out in one
Yeah.
round if Tyson wants to. Johnny Fisher would beat Manuel Charr.
Yeah. Listen. I think there's
It's
no
rubbish.
excuse. There's no
It's
excuse
rubbish.
to fight.
The both fights are rubbish. There's no sticking up for him.
It's really
I've never
bad.
met Chisora. He's the scariest guy in the world. So
I'll say this.
I don't fancy hammering him.
I'll say this. For him, for the career he's had and everything,
Does he
it'd be
deserve a
nice.
payday?
It'd be
Yeah,
nice.
does he
It'd be
though?
nice for him to have.
How does he? This is what I don't get.
I know.
So you know when you talk about boxing, everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Never met Chisora.
No, but
don't
if you
care.
tell me-
Chisora never wins any fight against anyone half decent.
Just beat Pulev,
Sorry.
top 10 heavyweight.
Come on.
Right, move on.
He lost as well, by the way. And he lost.
No,
for the
I
record.
didn't think he did. I thought he nicked it.
But every time he's fought up against a world-class fighter, he just gets pinged about.
Okay,
I don't want to see him fight again. Sorry, Del. I don't want to see you.
We won't go into that because Derek has lost. Okay, he got robbed against Hellenic. I'm not going to go through his list of losses. But every time he has
you've
lost,
been there for a while, that's why.
he lost to Cabello because that was the worst performance of his career. His trainer never got let through customs or whatever it was on that day. But anyway, Derek has only lost to Tyson, Fury, and like.
Don't get twisted. I don't want to see that fight.
No, nor do I. But I'm just saying.
But if it's going to happen, then I'll be happy for Derek.
Payday.
But sad for boxing.
It's
I think
rubbish.
Give
it's
Dave
shit.
Allen the fight.
Everyweight.
Give Dave Allen. Hold on a
on.
minute. We're saying give Del Boy the payday. Give Dave
I'm
Allen
not
the
saying
payday.
give him the payday. I'm saying if he does get that fight, that's the fight that he's hanging on for, and why he's not retired. He wants.
He'll probably retire after.
So that's why
he will
boxing's
jack it
fucked
in.
though. We're talking about which shit fighter to jump in.
Yeah.
Right, this is
like-
getting.
Do you know what I mean?
Shields Marshall, I'm really, really looking for. I hope they're both wrapped up in cotton wool all week, so that fight actually fucking happens. We're gonna see a fight that's made that's actually happened. No one's gonna
Two fighters at a peak.
Two fighters at their peak. Savannah Marshall is going to knock Claressa Shields out, and I cannot wait to
you
watch
think?
it. Yes,
You
I
think?
do. I've seen Savannah Marshall
I
put men on the
can
floor
see
in a
it.
gym.
She can punch, and without a doubt. But
50.
Yeah, facts. You owe me 50 quid anyway, so we're
From
double or
what?
quits here. Joe Parker against Joyce, we had a bet.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a zero if that's the case.
I actually only said Joe Parker to get on your tits though, so it actually.
it doesn't matter. You bet.
Yeah. Anyway,
Come on, Dave. He's lying. He's
I-
a footballer.
she's English. I want Savannah to win.
Yeah.
I think she'll get outboxed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot
I know
of
she's
people
got
do.
power, and I don't really know much about these two, but I've been watching the fight since it got announced. I
just
think
don't
Shields.
like-
I think Shields is sick. I think she's unreal.
I just don't want to hear this quote business because
No, I hate that.
the greatest female fighter of all time is Katie Taylor,
Yeah.
and it's not just about what you produce in the ring to be great; it's out the ring as
Out
well.
the
How
ring
she
as
carries herself. That's Katie Taylor, and that's Katie. So if there is a quote, that's Katie Taylor. I want Savannah Marshall.
Why are you
to
getting
knock-
so mad about
Because
it?
I want Savannah to win a lot.
Yeah, but that's
A
what I'm
lot.
saying. You want Savannah to
No,
win.
I think she will
I
win.
want Savannah to win.
Yeah, but you're saying you want her to win, but you think she'll lose. I'm saying I want her to win, and she is going to chin
Okay.
her.
Well, I think she'll get stopped late.
What? Never. Come on.
I was ringside when she beat Hannah Rankin, and the punches that you could hear. Like,
You think Clarissa's going to stop Savannah?
Late.
She couldn't stop an ice cream van on a
Well,
hot
she could.
summer's
All
day.
she'd have to do is just go like that, and it'll just stop by the street. I think she'll outbox her. She'll be too quick for her. She'll hit her too often, and I don't.
Do you not think the size and Savannah's slick jab?
I think Savannah's unreal, yeah, but I just think I generally think I couldn't give a fuck about Claressa Shields, I'll be honest. But for what I've seen of her, I think her skill level is too high for Savannah.
I think it's such an even fight.
Who drinks going to win, Dave? You have to pick a winner.
I'll be honest
we're
with you,
not
I don't
fence.
know.
We're not fence sitters in here, Dave. Who's winning?
I'm not sitting. Do you want me just to flip a coin? Get me a coin.
I want you. If I give you £50 now to go to the bookies and put a bet
Yeah,
on
who
what
you
you're putting
putting?
on, if I give you my £50,
And don't you dare say draw. Dave, who's winning the fight? You can't sit on the fence here. We don't like fence sitting. Come on,
I'm
let's
not
go.
sitting on the fence. I genuinely don't know.
If you had 50 quid now and he says go to old Ladbrokes over the road, who's winning?
other betting companies are allowed as well.
Yeah, Paddy Power or anyone's welcome.
Everyone's welcome on the pod. It's power versus speed, isn't it?
So
Power
who's
versus
winning?
boxing ability. I will. I'll probably say I want Savannah to win, but I think maybe Shields outboxes her.
So David Coldwell's prediction is Claressa.
No,
Josh's
you've
is
just put a gun to
Claressa.
my head.
Yeah, that's fine. You've got to do it.
And Peter Fury's going to do a video saying we don't know fuck all what we're talking about.
But why do you
Peter,
know what? though?
Savannah's winning the fight.
But do you know what? this tells you what a good fight is, because
Great fight.
I genuinely don't know which way it goes.
Best women's
It's
fight of all
how boxing
time.
should be.
Yeah.
Best women's fight of all time, in my opinion.
I think Savannah's got the power to knock anybody out.
Does
I
it sell?
genuinely do.
Does it sell out?
Yeah,
Does it
of
sell out the
course.
arena?
It
Yeah.
sold the arena
Oh,
out.
buzzing then.
It could be a great atmosphere.
Ben Shalom, the new goat.
There you go then. I
Gonna go
might
on
actually go to. Oh no, I'm promoting an. I've got
Stephen's on your show.
Got Stephen next week.
Put a few good fights on Ben Shalom.
But we're scattering the main event time, so we can actually watch the main event.
Good.
Peter's going to come on first. But shout out Peter McGrail, big fight, big step up next week. He's
Grow
going to. We've got the Savannah Claressa Shields afterwards. We'll be able to watch that.
Should I apologise to Dave's mate?
No, definitely not.
Shut your mouth.
Yes. Thank you very much for everyone who's watched this. And if you've not liked and subscribed already, please do so. But thank you very much for all the support we've had. We appreciate it very much, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.